So I remember when I was a little boy growing up in the early 1970s, at home my dad had a radio that was a shortwave radio, and it was just a big box of a thing, and all it had was the metal antenna like this has here. And it wasn't hooked up to any outside antenna or anything. And I used to love that radio, and it specifically said on there Shortwave and Marine and all these different bands. I think he got it at Goodwill. And I remember I just loved, just cruising through that thing. And it was all, it had the mechanical rubber band type controls on it, and it eventually wore out and broke, and it wasn't digital like these are today. And I remember just going through that and just enjoying hearing and just wondering what I was hearing out there. And occasionally I would come upon something like this. Just this constant sound of what sounds like a motor running. And I used to imagine that this was like big ships at sea or something, and they were broadcasting the sound of the motor running. And of course I was like 11, 12 years old. I didn't know any better, and I used to imagine that this was just like a ship at sea. But I honestly don't know what it is. Obviously it's not. Why would they broadcast the sounds of the motors? Anyway, I've never forgotten that. After 50 plus years, I still remember sitting at home in my parents' house and going through that old antique shortwave radio and listening to things like this. It's very interesting indeed. And things like that too. Just wondering what that is. Thinking it was some sort of an intentional broadcast coming from around the other side of the world or something, and just wondering what in the world is that? Well, I still wonder what that is, but I'm sure it's not an intentional broadcast. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's something you just kind of find as you're cruising around on the shortwave band. And here's another one of those things. Yeah, we kind of lost it there, but you could hear it. And now it's coming back. Just some very unusual sounds that will give 11, 12-year-old boy all kinds of imagination, outer space, or the other side of the world. What is that? A lot of fun just cruising around on this